Point made. Tennis stars like Sinner, Swiatek and Coco Gauff loved the 1-point Australian Open prep. Melbourne, Australia AP. The 1-point slam isn't likely to be a one-hit wonder. The first question to Jannik Sinner in the official pre-tournament news conference Friday was, jokingly, asked how he could expect an Australian Open three-peat if he couldn't beat an amateur in a 1-point exhibition. Yeah, hopefully I have a bit more control over 3 of 5 sets. Sinner said. The second question also related to the pressure of the instant success or failure nature of the competition that featured a mix of stars against club players, women against men, and was ultimately won by little-known local amateur Jordan Smith at a sold-out Rod Laver Arena. The format included a rock, paper and scissors contest to see who served in the 1-point match. I was not a big fan in the beginning, but when you are there and playing and seeing other matches play, it was so fun, he said. To have a packed stadium before the main event, it's great. He also loved the against all odds result. There was no better ending, I would say, especially for the first edition, that an amateur wins, he said. He really needs it in a very positive way. Game show. The $1 million winner-takes-all game show-style finals on Wednesday captivated the seasoned pros as much as the crowd. Roger Federer said he was glued to it and would have enjoyed a go. And it was one of the topics of the day as world's leading tennis players appeared in news conferences 2 days before the season-opening major starts on Sunday. Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff and Amanda Anisimova were among the stars of the women's tour who loved it. The stressful part for the stars was the unknown. It was something different. Because you're not warm, you wait 40 minutes, and then you just play maybe 1 point or you don't even play because someone makes a mistake, Sinner, the 2-time defending Australian Open champion, said. It was something fun to play, but mostly also to watch. Swiatek was prepared. Unlike Sinner, Swiatek did warm up for it. I was ready, she said, and she took out a couple of the men. To advance, a player only had to win 1 point. So, miss a second serve and you're out. It was great. I think it was so much fun. Honestly, everybody was watching. Also off the court, everybody said they were so, emotional about it, Swiatek said. She was coming off a win with Poland in the United Cup and preparing for her bid to complete a career Grand Slam by winning the Australian title for the first time, so it served as a refreshing distraction. It's something new, refreshing, she said. I think this is what tennis sometimes needs. Anisimova, who reached the finals at Wimbledon and the US Open last year, said she'd like to see the 1-point slam expanded to all 4 majors. It was so funny because we were all, equally very, very nervous, she said. We were just talking about how nervous we were. I think it was mostly because we didn't want to just, miss on the first shot, because it would have been so embarrassing. We all shared that sentiment. At the same time, it was just so much fun to laugh with each other ahead of a big 2 weeks. Another shot. 2-time major winner Gauff said she'd like a chance to redeem herself if the event is staged next year. I didn't expect to win. I was telling everyone that was not going to happen. People were like, what are you going to do with the money? She said, I did say I wanted an amateur to win. I think the best case scenario happened. Smith beat Joanna Garland, the women's number 117 from Taiwan who, Gauff said, became like a celebrity overnight. She thought it was good to hear stories of people who play tennis but who never get public exposure and suggested the qualifying rounds, played in local tennis clubs around Australia, should be televised as well. There were a couple cool stories that were from the qualifying rounds that I was there that I wish some people got to see on Rod Laver, Gauff said. The magic of 1 point. Why tennis stars thrived on the Australian Open prep. In the high-octane world of professional tennis, preparation is often as grueling as the tournaments themselves. Hours of practice, tactical drills, and conditioning workouts are the lifeblood of champions. Yet, in recent seasons, a subtle but striking trend emerged at the Australian Open, a focus not on entire matches or even extended practice sets, but on the power of 1 point. And stars like Jannik Sinner, Iga Swiatek, and Coco Gauff were among the first to recognize its value. At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive. Tennis is a game of endurance, rhythm, and long-term strategy, So how could obsessing over a single point prepare elite athletes for a 2-week Grand Slam? Yet, within the simplicity of that one-point drill lies a profound lesson about focus, mental clarity, and the art of being present. The philosophy behind the single point. Consider the one-point drill not as a practice routine, but as a philosophy. In a single point, everything counts. Every serve, every return, every foot movement and split-second decision becomes magnified. Players are forced to bring maximum intensity and total focus to the smallest fragment of the game. For Jannik Sinner, the young Italian prodigy known for his blistering ground strokes and cool demeanor, this method aligned perfectly with his style. You don't always need hours of practice to understand the feel of the court, Sinner said in a recent interview. If you can make one point perfect, you can make any point perfect. Sinner's approach demonstrates a keen understanding of quality over quantity, a mindset that transforms pressure-filled moments into opportunities. Iga Swiatek, the Polish star and former world number 1, approached the one-point prep as a mental exercise. Tennis, after all, is 90% mental. The one-point method allowed her to simulate high-pressure scenarios without the fatigue of full match play. Swiatek could focus on executing a perfect serve under imagined pressure or countering a tricky shot, honing her decision-making and emotional resilience one point at a time. In her own words, it's like a meditation in movement. You learn to control the chaos in that tiny slice of the game. And then there's Coco Gauff, the American phenom whose speed, agility, and fearlessness make her a nightmare on the court. For Gauff, the one-point drill was a playground of experimentation. She could try audacious angles, risky drop shots, or unconventional returns without the burden of a full match's scoreline. It's fun, she admitted. You can push yourself, make mistakes, and learn in a way that doesn't feel like practice. For a player so young yet so accomplished, the joy of testing limits in a microcosm of competition proved invaluable. The science of focus and microtraining. Beyond philosophy, there's actual science behind why one-point prep works. Neuroscientists call it chunking, the process of breaking down complex tasks into smaller, manageable units. In tennis, a match can be overwhelming. 12 games, multiple sets, countless points. By isolating a single point, players train their brains to focus fully, reinforcing muscle memory, decision-making, and shot execution without distraction.